And it wasn't as if paintball was the only idea I've ever had. I mean, I would have come up with something else. In fact, I had another company, the same, within 3 months I started with paintball at the same exact time. And you ever seen these anti-nausea wristbands that people wear? I created those in 1981 and called them AccuBands. And then I got busted by the FDA at a trade show in Las Vegas for marketing medical devices without FDA approval. So they busted me on that, so then I focused more on paintball.
Tina Russo from Cat Shack Reports wanted to know, Bob, in what ways do you feel leading people on the tour to the very first 12-man paintball game in New Hampshire, the first tournament field, and the home in which the first business dealings took place, will benefit the persons taking the tour along with yourself?
I think that's an easy question, Tina. The benefit would come from truly understanding the truth of the history of paintball and breaking all of the myths and other rumors, or some of the stuff floating out there is so far off the charts. Some of the stuff that has been published by these guys that are claiming that they know and have published 2 books is so unbelievably wrong. I become incredulous when I read it, and I'm saying to myself, don't these guys do any research? And one of them even called me Bill Guernsey, spelled incorrectly. Now, come on. How do you pass yourself off as an author who theoretically should be researching something that you're going to be publishing, and not
other people are going to read?
Call this guy Bill Guernsey, spelled like a cow? And give me a break. So that was one of the reasons I wanted to do it. The second reason I wanted to do it was to say thank you to a few people that had also helped me in many ways, and were either old friends or whatever. But the benefit is knowing some history from the guy who actually wrote it. I mean, clearly the first paintball marker wasn't even intended to be shot at anyone. In fact, the originators, the Nelson brothers, who were my age at the time, whom I still refer to as elderly ones, they're not around, they were so absolutely dead set against what we were doing, but they went along with it when they got indemnified, number one. Number two, it was clear that they didn't have any market at all for the guns that they had created for paintball and, for forestry and for market cattle, because they still had about 9,000 left out of a 10,000 gun order, and they had them in inventory for at least 9 years that I'm aware of, and so that was a product that was failing in the marketplace. So the smartest thing they could do, being pragmatic, was to try and make some money from it. So they went along with the deal that we offered them.
Well, thank you. And I just want to say, you talked about how you wouldn't do it again. And I know that that's, personal cost to you. But I do know that the sport is bringing a lot of happiness and satisfaction to people all over the world. So.
And it has to me. I don't want to. Are you still?
Yeah.
Yeah. I do want to say. I mean, I don't want to sound as though it's been a negative experience. It hasn't. There are rewards that I've received that nobody else, very few people in the world will ever receive them, and I want to make that point, and they're very important to me. And that is the effect that paintball has had on people's lives. I have people all the time from all over the world either write me, and even today, and let me know that if it weren't for creating paintball as a sport, they wouldn't have the kids they have because they met their husband or wife through paintball. They wouldn't have the relationships. They wouldn't have so many things. They wouldn't have had the jobs they've had. They wouldn't have had the
friends.
So the reward for me, the greatest reward for me, is hearing the stories of those people. And and that's the thing that gives me the most satisfaction. So I don't want to leave your people with a negative impression. Now I'm bitter. I'm not bitter. I just think the price was extremely high, considering where I was in my life at the time and things that I could have done without going through all of those incredible lawsuits. And the fact that nobody was ever, they all created their own problem. In other words, they had the safety goggles off. Would you like one example of that? I had a lawsuit in Texas. Filed against me. Guy had just come off a paintball field. Had a Spy Master. He had it cocked. He had it loaded. He had the safety off. Came off the field. Had his goggles up on his forehead. Had his finger on the trigger when he turned the gun around to look down the barrel. All of this admitted. He admitted all of this. And he blew his eyeball out when he finger flexed. When he pulled it and blew his eyeball out, he sued me.
For shooting himself in the face without a mask.
And that cost to win was $50,000. See, in America, every time you win, you lose. So that's one of the, Governor Perry in Texas just changed that law in the state of Texas. Thank bless his heart. Every company that's smart, every company in America that's under liability attack should move to Texas. And I would have been there in a heartbeat if some governor had done that. But yeah, I mean, I can go on for so many examples of the stupid lawsuits that I received. And only 4 of them were ever even thrown out of a courtroom. So that's where we are.
All right. Well, I'm glad you had a good day today.
Yeah, I had
PSI.
a great day.
Hanging out with Barney and the rest of the Master Blasters.
Yeah. I enjoyed meeting all the people. I'll tell you what, I had a blast.
Even getting assassinated by certain people.
You know, look, I was going to have a little chat with him about that later.
We can cut.
I don't think you pass yourself off kind of as being so close to, being friendly and close to someone. Somebody's even going to interview you, and then you blow them out of the game.
Dick move, man.
Yeah.
Dick move.
Yeah.
Well, that's misfit for you.
If I were him, I'd come back and really try to do it with a paintball when I'm going to be on the field again as Bernie. I'll be looking a little dead, but if he can still shoot me, then he gets the prize. But it has to be with a paintball, not with some
Cap gun.
Huh?
It's a cap gun, yeah.
Not with some cap gun. But anyway, yeah, it was a little cheap, but that's the sport. You know what? I love it. I was thrilled with it. I love the format. So.
All right, thank you.
Anyway, thanks a lot.
All right.
Yeah, pleasure meeting
Thank you.
Again, thank you, Bob.
Pleasure.
Everything.
Yeah.
Everybody's
Uh-huh.
just waiting outside.